Hey guys, this is Deani Monet and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do a highly requested video on how to get into nursing school and how to stay in nursing school. Before we get started, I want you all to hit that subscribe button below so that you can be notified anytime I post a video. Let's get started. So today, the first thing I want to talk about is prerequisites. So in order to apply to a nursing program, there are some prereqs, which are classes that you need to take prior to getting into the program. The prereqs that I took for my original college, which is Old Dominion University, are as follows: English 1 and 2, literature, statistics, philosophy, history, art history, STEM, psychology, sociology, chemistry 1 and 2, biology, anatomy 1 and 2. Now, I know that seems like a lot of classes. It's over a course of 2 years, so it is a lot, but think about it as your ticket into your future. As far as these classes go, make sure you do the best you can do in these classes. To me, a lot of these classes were like busy work, like especially history, art history, STEM. All of these classes should be a GPA booster. Do not slack. Do not take your time and do horrible or do okay in these classes, because this is going to be your ticket into the nursing program, as GPA is very important. Depending on the program that you choose, there's going to be a nursing test that you have to take prior to getting into the program. It's a part of your application process. So the two tests are either the HESI or the TEAS test. I don't know much about the TEAS test. I only know about the HESI because that's the test that I'm required to take. But from what I have heard, the TEAS test is a lot easier than the HESI. The HESI is basically a generalized test that is about all the basics that you should know prior to getting into the nursing program. So some things that were on my HESI test was like the basics of vocab, math, biochemistry, A&P, and I want to say now there's some physics on the test. There are review books and things that you can get. I want to say I got a book off Amazon to review for this test. I didn't really study too hard for the HESI. I want to say I studied probably for a week for it, and then I went ahead and gone and taken it. For my school, I want to say you have to get above maybe 85 on the HESI. I'm not too sure, but I only took it once and I did well on it, so I didn't have to take it again. And it was good enough for me to get into the program. So know their program, know what they want, if it's HESI or if it's the TEAS test, and start studying right away. I also will recommend taking these tests the summer prior to applying. So we had to apply for my program in the spring. So I want to say I took this test the summer prior to that semester, did my fall semester, and then applied to the program. That way I didn't have to worry about taking classes and trying to prepare for this exam at the same time. Now, when it comes to your application, make sure you read each and every line. The application is very simple, but if you miss something or you forget a piece of paperwork, it can hurt you as far as getting into the program. So read it very carefully. Make sure you answer all questions and you leave no blanks. So here are some tips that I came up with along with my two friends who went through nursing school with me. We came up with a list of things that can help you get in the nursing program and boost your application. So GPA is the first thing. All of these prerequisite classes you need to take extremely serious. You want to do well in those classes so that your GPA is phenomenal. It's hard to get into nursing programs with a terrible GPA. Most schools have a very high minimum. I want to say my minimum GPA for my nursing program was a 3.7. If you start from the beginning, like first semester freshman, okay? Because it's very, very easy to drop your GPA and very hard to build your GPA. So you want to start off on a solid basis. So those first 2 years, take serious. The next thing is community service. So, depending on your school applications, there are other things that can help you get into the program, especially if your GPA isn't as well as you want it to be. Community service is one of them. Just helping out in the community or food banks, things like that can help you get into the program. I personally joined an organization on campus called Trust, and it's a community service-based org. And we did a lot of food bank to help with food. We did blood drives. We did campus cleanup. Things like that show that you're a good character and you like to help out in your community. Shadow a nurse. My entire senior year of high school, I ended up shadowing a nurse, and for the whole year, I just learned things and tasks that she did, and I loved it. That kind of solidified that I even wanted to do nursing. So I highly recommend shadowing because you don't know what you're getting yourself into until you're actually on the floor and seeing everything. So that's a good thing to do in general to see if you want to do it. So most hospitals do have shadowing options where you can see. So definitely try to do that prior to filling out that application because it can also help you in the end. Another thing that I said was to work in the healthcare field. So becoming a CNA or LPN is a big plus on your application process because nursing is hands-on. It doesn't matter how book smart you are. Sometimes you just really have to know how to do it. So when it comes to being hands-on, working in the healthcare field as a nurse as a CNA or as an LPN can truly help you in the end because you're already there. You're already seeing what's going on. You see certain processes. You see certain skills. So it's important to work in the healthcare field so that you already have that exposure. I also recommend meeting with your counselor. It's very best to meet with your counselor at the beginning of the school year and prior to taking your application process or prior to starting your application process because your counselor has been through this with many different students. I know a lot of counselors may be very negative about it, but you stay positive, have a positive mentality. They're going to tell you the worst of the worst because they want you to know how hard it is to get in. They don't want you to get your hopes up. So you just take that negativity with a grain of salt, but you need their information because you need to know things that students did wrong in the past or what you need to do to help boost your application. You want to know that information. So again, go to them, get the information that you need, and everything else negative-wise, in one ear and out the other. So, if you follow these tips that I gave you, I believe your application will be flawless. And when it's time to apply to that nursing program, you will get in definitely. Once you submit your application, it's time for you to get the ball rolling. So, this is my recommendation for you. You submit the application. I will make a doctor's appointment that same day. At that doctor's appointment, you want to get a physical and you want to get titers done. So we had to apply to the nursing program by February. I think we got our results back by March, and then we were good to start the program in September. But between March and September, there were a bunch of things that need to be submitted, and one of them was vaccinations. Now, vaccinations can be a very hard process because certain vaccinations take months, some take weeks, especially if you gotta get something like Hep B, because that can take like 6 months if you gotta get all the series. So you want to make sure you get your titers done first. So make that appointment. At that first appointment, you want to get titers done, and you want to get a physical examination. So some of the titers you will need for a nursing program is varicella, which is chickenpox, MMR, which is measles, mumps, and rubella, Hep B for hepatitis B. You want to get the TB test or DTaP for TB, and then you also want to get the influenza shot. So those are things that are very, very important because once you become a nurse or a nursing student, the hospital requires that you have these vaccinations to limit your risk. So I also wanted to give you a few tips to help you get through the nursing program. So you apply to the program and now you're in. It's official. You're ready to become a registered nurse and you're taking your nursing classes. I want to let you know that nursing school is hard. It's probably the hardest thing that you're ever going to do in your life, but it is not impossible. Stay positive, stay motivated, and stay with the program. You want to be a nurse. We're going to be a nurse. We want to get through this together. So some things that I wrote down for you to stay in the or get through the program would be to, one, know how you learn best. There are many different ways to study to learn. It is imperative that you know which way of studying is optimal for you. Everybody does not have the same studying habits or the same studying techniques, and every studying technique won't work for you. So know the best way for you to study and know your material. 2, form a solid study group. I never in my life had a study group until nursing school, but it's very imperative because you guys will keep each other motivated, keep each other through all the bad grades, all the downfalls, all the times where you just need a partner. So building a strong study group, I recommend, is the highest thing in nursing school right now because we need one another to be accountable for one another and just to get each other through that finish line. 3 will be stay a week ahead. Nursing school moves fast and rapidly. You can get your syllabus 2 weeks prior to class starting. So when you get that syllabus, make sure you're doing what you have to do to pass these classes because you want to make sure that you're a week ahead at all times. It helps out, especially when it comes to the exams, because you're not learning new material that same week and then a week later you have a test. Like, no, stay on top of it. Meet with your professor weekly. I say this because professors are very lenient when they see a student is working or struggling. They want you to pass. They want you to learn. So meet with them weekly. If it's even just to see, okay, how I'm doing or I'm struggling with this topic, let that professor know that you need help and they will help you. Get a tutor. Some nursing classes, I think it's kind of hard to get a tutor or you won't be able to find a tutor for it. But there are classes that you might need or extra help. And I feel like a tutor is very helpful on all levels or all aspects. So definitely get a tutor because sometimes you really just need that extra person. Be organized. Being organized is very, very important. You cannot get through nursing school with everything all over the place. It's important that every week before class start, have your schedule, have your planner, whatever it is that you do to get organized, get it done before class starts every week. Read your textbooks. Now, the best way to fight a question on a test or a quiz or something that you don't understand is to know your textbook. If your textbook says the sky is purple and the test says that the sky is blue, you can go back to page 99 in that textbook and it says on page 99 that the sky is purple and get your points back. You need every point that you can get, okay? So make sure you know your textbook so that way if you have an issue with a test question, you have something to back it up. Take mental days. Now, I didn't take mental days until I started grad school, and I was very, very stressed out in nursing school. It is important to take mental days because sometimes you need to let your brain rest. This week, for an example, I done took 2 mental days this week, which was, it's now Wednesday, so Monday and Tuesday, I was like, I cannot. So make sure you take your mental days because it helps you just get back rolling. Like, here I am Wednesday, and I'm ready to finish the rest of this week. And get this schoolwork done today because I can't push it anymore. But make sure you take your mental days. It's imperative. When you take notes, make sure you use a highlighter, especially when the teacher is talking. You want to highlight everything that the teacher emphasized because that's definitely on the exam. Make sure you say a prayer just because you need to have the faith. God will get you through all things. He is never going to leave you nor forsake you. Say that prayer. Make sure you believe it. So make sure you trust in God so that you guys can work through this semester together. And last but not least, study, study, study. I cannot say this enough. Study for the nursing program. You're not going to make it through the nursing program if you don't study. This is not a class. Any of the classes are not classes where you can just listen in class and know your information. So make sure you study. And that is all I have for you. I hope I gave you a bunch of tips on how to get in the nursing program and how to stay in the nursing program. I wish you all the best of luck and getting into these programs and passing your course, because I truly believe that you can do it just like I did. Nursing school is hard, again, but it's not impossible. Believe in yourself and keep a positive mentality, and you will do phenomenal. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Run that back. Like, subscribe, and comment on my channel so you can be updated when I post new videos.